Hi, I'm Personal Trainer YUJI.
I believe that for middle-aged individuals over 40 or 50, there are certain absolute conditions that suggest how they should approach leg training. This is due to the unique bodily issues and decline that come with middle age. It would be a waste not to engage in leg training that addresses these concerns. Therefore, I have my own ideas on how to do this effectively, and I would like to share my thoughts on leg training. For the general middle-aged population, the leg press is not needed. The leg press involves pushing with the legs in a certain way. There are variations, such as pushing diagonally upward on a 45-degree leg press, but I think that the leg press is not necessary for the average middle-aged person. While it may be required for those who are into bodybuilding, I believe it is not needed for the general middle-aged individual. I will explain the reasons for this shortly. There are common mistakes that occur during leg training. Well, in the case of squats, when using a barbell, a frequent mistake that happens when you're doing it with a barbell is something like this, coming in and coming out like this. This is the kind of thing. There are quite a few Bulgarian squat enthusiasts. When doing Bulgarian squats, I usually hold dumbbells. I'm doing Bulgarian squats like this. Like this. Well, that's true. I'm doing leg exercises by bending and stretching my legs. But I wonder if this is the right approach. Well, what wasn't good about it is clear to see. It's just focusing on the legs. Since it's leg training, is it okay to only work on the legs? However, I believe it's better not to focus solely on the legs. Even if it's called leg training, it's not just about the legs. So, the correct form is important too. For the squat, for example, there's a barbell here. Earlier, it was like this. But it should be like this, not like that. It's like this. The body might become a bit rounded or lean forward slightly, but this is how it is. Ultimately, this is how it should be. And regarding the Bulgarian squat, well, the Bulgarian squat is also like this. You see this quite often in the gym, but it's not like this. It's like this. What's different about this? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? There's no back lunge. And when doing back lunges, you often find yourself in a position like this, squatting and standing up. Which seems fine, right? But that's not what we want. What we want is this. What we want is this kind of movement. This kind of movement. In other words, being aware from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. I want you to have a detailed and comprehensive image in your mind of mentally separating the points from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Since this is leg training, it's not just about moving the legs alone, it's about pulling apart from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Think of it like stretching an accordion. With this big image in mind, it starts with the idea that there are people who move. Well, what's good about doing that and what's different is that when you visualize pulling from the soles of your feet to the top of your head, you engage all the parts in between. For example, when doing a squat, the focus is primarily on the legs. However, the core, which is the area outside of just the legs, is crucial. If you don't tighten your abdomen and lift properly, it can lead to issues. This is how it goes. By closing it and lifting, you can bring your head to a higher position. This means you are using your core. Now, when people do squats, there are those who let the bar drop with a clatter. Some people continue to let it drop and stay in that position. This indicates that they are not using their core at all. It is important to lift the bar up tightly to improve posture. This way of using the core is crucial. The core muscles are not just about simply contracting and sitting up. It's also about lifting heavy weights that are resting on your shoulders, engaging and lifting with your core. This way of using your abdomen is very important. And in the case of the current squat, this applies as well. When you wake up, not only your abdomen but also your lower back is quite engaged. The erector spinae muscles in the lower back are used significantly. At the same time, by tightening the back, you maintain good posture to avoid slouching. This means that the back is also quite engaged. So it feels like you are using everything from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Furthermore, the alignment of the head is important. As I mentioned regarding the Bulgarian squat, it is about extending vertically from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. At that time, for example, if you are raising your arms too high, that's not it. And looking down is not it either. You need to maintain a vertical position, keeping your head steady in that vertical state. Because it's vertical, well, in those old Jackie Chan movies, there's a scene where he balances a teacup on his head while doing something. there was this idea of trying to keep your head high and steady, and even if you try to balance something here, it's the same concept. Even with this type of squat that doesn't spill at all, we don't do anything that causes movement. The position of the head is quite important, as we shouldn't overdo it either. Therefore, leg training not only builds leg muscles, but also helps in creating posture. Performing squats in this manner not only develops leg strength, but also strengthens the abdominal and lower back muscles. It helps in developing vertical strength, leading to a straight vertical alignment. This is something that can be created, you see. The position of the head significantly changes the body's balance. During exercise, keeping the top of the head level while moving vertically is important. In backward movements, maintaining this position means keeping the head in the same place. While moving the body, the idea is to keep the head steady, as if you are walking while firmly maintaining that head position. This allows you to always maintain such posture. By the way, there are many very tall athletes in sports. There are indeed a lot of tall people. For example, there are many tall players like Maya Yoshida, who plays for an overseas soccer team, and Shohei Ohtani as well. Those players are incredibly tall. For instance, Yoshida is about 185 cm tall, or even taller, which is impressive. However, being tall doesn't mean they have poor posture. In the world, being tall can sometimes make it feel like there's a lack of distance in vertical movement, but that's not the case for these athletes. There are no athletes with bad posture among them. Poor posture can hinder good performance because the center of gravity shifts. The center of gravity should be in the right place. If it shifts, the lower body won't function optimally. Therefore, they can't perform at their best. Regarding this, players like Mitoma and Kubo, as well as Nakanishi, have mentioned that you need to keep your head stable while swimming and move within that framework to perform well. This is something that sponsored athletes talk about. I believe this applies not only to athletes but to the general public as well. When ordinary people walk or stand, even just standing still, they often do not look graceful or beautiful. This is likely because their body balance is off, which probably makes them look less attractive. When this balance is disrupted, it affects how they use their legs. For example, they might put their weight on their toes, leading to different forces being applied. Consequently, this can also put different stresses on the knees and hips. When it becomes easier to break down in those areas, I think that's a possibility. However, of course, smooth movement cannot be achieved. Therefore, when doing squats or Bulgarian squats, maintaining good posture is essential, as it improves both posture and movement quality. This means that movement does not become sluggish or ineffective. In my view, the definition of attractiveness in middle age is not just about having good muscle and body fat. It's more than that. Even if it looks cool in a photo when posed like this, in reality, it can seem quite unappealing at first glance. The body fat is in single digits, and even if there are decent interest rates on money, this kind of pose looks bad. It's not cool at all, right? While there may be some wealth, good posture is also important, and looking good additionally involves a sense of movement. Ultimately, it comes down to the balance that originates from the position of the head and the overall posture. Therefore, I am not just someone who takes pictures. To create a cool appearance, including when you are basically moving, it is important to focus on leg training during lower body exercises. By ensuring that your squats and Bulgarian squats do not look like this, and by maintaining a straight and vertical posture, you can improve your movement and overall appearance. I believe this can make you a more attractive person overall. I think there is a significant difference in attractiveness between those who do strength training and those who do not, as well as between those who pay attention to their form and those who do not. This distinction can also be seen in everyday movements, where being attractive or unattractive can vary. Therefore, the level of awareness in this regard is quite high. I want you to create a cool body. So yes, when you're doing leg training, always stretch from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Even when you go down, you should be stretching. It's not just about stretching when you rise, you should also be stretching when you go down. If you keep this awareness of stretching while exercising, you'll develop a nice cool body. Although this is about leg training, I want you to think about your whole body. Honestly, while it may seem like just leg training, it goes really deep. If you go that deep, you'll truly become a cool person. So please be mindful and give it a try tomorrow.
Please subscribe the channel and follow my Instagram and X. I hope to see you next time. ありがとうございます。